a babysitter, just me and the babysitter, and she turned on the television and she goes, "Joe, you got to see this movie. Your mom's in it." And I go, "What? My mom? What are you talking about?" So The Wizard of Oz starts playing. I start watching it, but I can't really, I'm so young, I can't distinguish what was live from what was filmed. So after a while watching this, I think it's really real. And by the time the monkeys came down and started flying in, I started like really freaking out. I mean, I go, "We gotta call the cops." I go, "They just kidnapped my mother." I'm crying, the babysitter's going, "Joey, calm down, calm down. Nothing's how, I'll get your mom on the phone. You can talk to her, she's in Europe." About 2 minutes later, I had the phone in my hand going, Mom, are you all right? Did the monkeys get you?" She goes, "No, Joey, no, I'm fine. Watch the rest of the movie, it's not real. It's just a movie, and you'll be fine. And I'll be home in a couple of days." And hung up.
That's so silly. I imagine behind her concern for you, she must have been giggling a little bit.
Yeah, she was.
All right, come on.
Some of you might not even know that I have a sister, Lorna Luft, and a half-sister, Liza Minnelli. Thank you. The 27th Annual Academy Awards were held at the Pantages Theater on March 30th, 1955. I was born on March 29th, 1955. My mother, Judy Garland, was heavily favored to win Best Actress that year for the movie A Star is Born, co-starring James Mason. She could not attend the ceremony since she had just given birth to me and was still in the hospital. In the likely case she would win, TV cameras were set up in her room so she could express her thanks. Well, it turned out that Grace Kelly that year won for Best Actress for The Country Girl. Groucho Marx later sent my mother a telegram saying that her loss was the biggest robbery since Brinks. Although she did not win the Oscar, my nickname that year became Oscar for her. I will be talking a lot about my father, Sid, later on in the show. My life was different from most kids. To the outside world, I've led a fascinating life. I grew up with the Kennedys, the Lawfords, the Bogarts, and the Sinatras, just to name a few. We traveled a lot and we lived in a lot of different places: California, London, New York, and Cape Cod. Mom always wanted us to be together, Mom, Liza, Lorna, and me. We even performed with her at Madison Square Garden, the Palace Theater in New York, and in Las Vegas. It was great. It was all great. That wonderful life growing up as Judy Garland's son and witnessing some of the greatest moments in showbiz history. My parents had been divorced for 3 or 4 years by 1969. Even so, they continued to love one another, and my dad still managed my mom's career. I was with my dad when my mom was in Europe. She had just returned from doing a concert in Copenhagen. I was in London and about to come home. She was in London and about to come home, excuse me. I was staying over at John's house when my mother his mother woke me up in the morning and told me what had happened. I've never talked about my mother up until now, but I'd really like to share some of these stories about my mom and my dad. I've been in the backstage, so to speak, waiting for the right time for me to share with you my experiences of what it was like to be the son of one of the world's greatest entertainers. Like John shared with you earlier, my dad had a very unique perspective about the things in the songs my mom would sing. Typically, my mom's concerts would have had more of the so-called hits, but my father had a vision to capture moments that you're about to see on a very special level that moved him, and a very emotional one too. Hopefully you will have the same experience. Tonight I would like to do as my dad always did and share my feelings as we witness the greatest performers on the big screen. Tonight is a celebration and a very special tribute to my mom and my dad's talents. People have been asking me why now and what's so different about this show that people don't already know. Some of you didn't even know that Judy Garland had a son. I found that out when I was attending the Academy Awards last year to see my mom being honored for the 75th annual Academy Awards. My mom, Judy Garland, was born on March 29th, 1955. I was born on March 30th, 1955. My mother, Judy Garland, was heavily favored to win Best Actress that year for the movie A Star is Born, co-starring James Mason. movie of The Wizard of Oz, I'm sorry. So it was like 2 years ago, but that's okay. So now it's time for me to help introduce my mom to a new generation and to share the talent and positive influence that she had on a whole new generation. So with that, Angela will tell you a little history of my mom.